Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The organ of sight. Look at. An area that is approximately central within some larger region. They were in the eye of the storm. A small hole or loop, as in a needle. The thread wouldn't go through the eye. Attention to what is seen. He tried to catch her eye. Good discernment, either visually or as if visually. She has an eye for fresh talent. The organ of sight. Relating to or using sight. An optical illusion. The organ of sight. Of or relating to or resembling the eye. The optic, or optical, axis of the eye. The ball-shaped capsule containing the vertebrate eye. Look at. A building dedicated to a particular activity. They were raising money to build a new center for research. The object upon which interest and attention focuses. His stories made him the center of the party. Direct one's attention on something. Move into the center. That vase in the picture is not centered. A cluster of nerve cells governing a specific bodily process. In most people, the speech center is in the left hemisphere. The sweet central portion of a piece of candy that is enclosed in chocolate or some other covering. Mercantile establishment consisting of a carefully landscaped complex of shops representing leading merchandisers. Usually includes restaurants and a convenient parking area. A modern version of the traditional marketplace. Equally distant from the extremes. A place where some particular activity is concentrated. They received messages from several centers. Football. The person who plays center on the line of scrimmage and snaps the ball to the quarterback. The center fumbled the handoff. A point equidistant from the ends of a line or the extremities of a figure. An area that is approximately central within some larger region. It is in the center of town. Center upon. Her entire attention centered on her children. The choicest or most essential or most vital part of some idea or experience. The piece of ground in the outfield directly ahead of the catcher. He hit the ball to deep center. American football. The position of the player on the line of scrimmage who puts the ball in play. It is a center's responsibility to get the football to the quarterback. A position on a basketball team of the player who participates in the jump that starts the game. Basketball. The person who plays center on a basketball team. Ice hockey. The person who plays center on a hockey team. Of or belonging to neither the right nor the left politically or intellectually. Politically moderate persons, centrists. The middle of a military or naval formation. They had to reinforce the center. The position on a hockey team of the player who participates in the face-off at the beginning of the game. A building dedicated to a particular activity. The object upon which interest and attention focuses. Direct one's attention on something. Move into the center. A cluster of nerve cells governing a specific bodily process. The sweet central portion of a piece of candy that is enclosed in chocolate or some other covering. A place where some particular activity is concentrated. A point equidistant from the ends of a line or the extremities of a figure. An area that is approximately central within some larger region. The choicest or most essential or most vital part of some idea or experience. A low-lying region in central France. The hollow muscular organ located behind the sternum and between the lungs. Its rhythmic contractions move the blood through the body. He stood still, his heart thumping wildly. The courage to carry on. You haven't got the heart for baseball. An area that is approximately central within some larger region. They ran forward into the heart of the struggle. The choicest or most essential or most vital part of some idea or experience. The heart and soul of the Republican Party. The locus of feelings and intuitions. In your heart you know it is true. A positive feeling of liking. The child won everyone's heart. An inclination or tendency of a certain kind. He had a change of heart. A firm rather dry variety meat, usually beef or veal. A 5-pound beef heart will serve 6. A plain figure with rounded sides curving inward at the top and intersecting at the bottom, conventionally used on playing cards and valentines. He drew a heart and called it a valentine. A playing card in the major suit that has one or more red hearts on it. He led the Queen of Hearts. Equally distant from the extremes. An area that is approximately central within some larger region. The middle area of the human torso, usually in front. Being neither at the beginning nor at the end in a series. The middle point on a line. An intermediate part or section. A whole is that which has beginning, middle, and end. Between an earlier and a later period of time. In the middle years. Of a stage in the development of a language or literature between earlier and later stages. Put in the middle. Time between the beginning and the end of a temporal period. The middle of the war. An organ having nerve endings, in the skin or viscera or eye or ear or nose or mouth, that respond to stimulation. A cellular structure that is postulated to exist in order to mediate between a chemical agent that acts on nervous tissue and the physiological response. An organ having nerve endings, in the skin or viscera or eye or ear or nose or mouth, that respond to stimulation. An organ having nerve endings, in the skin or viscera or eye or ear or nose or mouth, that respond to stimulation. Take charge of or deal with. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Have faith or confidence in. Give a certain impression or have a certain outward aspect. This project looks fishy. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. She is looking to a promotion. The feelings expressed on a person's face. A look of triumph. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The house looks north. Search or seek. We looked all day and finally found the child in the forest. The act of directing the eyes toward something and perceiving it visually. He went out to have a look. Accord in appearance with. You don't look your age. Convey by one's expression. She looked her devotion to me. Have a certain outward or facial expression. How does she look? Perceive with attention. Direct one's gaze towards. She looked over the expanse of land. Physical appearance. I don't like the looks of this place. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The country's largest manufacturer. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. Bible country. The people who live in a nation or country. The whole country worshipped him. An area outside of cities and towns. His poetry celebrated the slower pace of life in the country. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. Informal terms for a difficult situation. One playing period, from tee to green, on a golf course. He played 18 holes. Hit the ball into the hole. Informal terms for the mouth. A depression hollowed out of solid matter. A fault. He shot holes in my argument. An opening deliberately made in or through something. An opening into or through something. An unoccupied space. Make holes in. The process whereby a person concentrates on some features of the environment to the relative exclusion of others. The work of providing treatment for or attending to someone or something. The old car needs constant attention. A courteous act indicating affection. She tried to win his heart with her many attentions. A general interest that leads people to want to know more. She was the center of attention. A motionless erect stance with arms at the sides and feet together, assumed by military personnel during drill or review. The troops stood at attention. The faculty or power of mental concentration. Keeping track of all the details requires your complete attention. The process whereby a person concentrates on some features of the environment to the relative exclusion of others. The act of being present, at a meeting or event, etc. The trait of forming opinions by distinguishing and evaluating. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. The act of judging or assessing a person or situation or event. They criticized my judgment of the contestants. The capacity to assess situations or circumstances shrewdly and to draw sound conclusions. The cognitive process of reaching a decision or drawing conclusions. The legal document stating the reasons for a judicial decision. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. Law, the determination by a court of competent jurisdiction on matters submitted to it. An opinion formed by judging something. He was reluctant to make his judgment known. The act of judging or assessing a person or situation or event. The capacity to assess situations or circumstances shrewdly and to draw sound conclusions. The cognitive process of reaching a decision or drawing conclusions. The legal document stating the reasons for a judicial decision. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. Law, the determination by a court of competent jurisdiction on matters submitted to it. An opinion formed by judging something. The trait of forming opinions by distinguishing and evaluating. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. Perception of that which is obscure. The trait of judging wisely and objectively. A man of discernment. Delicate discrimination, especially of aesthetic values. The mental ability to understand and discriminate between relations. The cognitive condition of someone who understands. In insects and some crustaceans, composed of many light-sensitive elements each forming a portion of an image. The eye unaided by any optical instrument that alters the power of vision or alters the apparent size or distance of objects. It is not safe to look directly at the sun with the naked eye. An eye having a single lens. An eye-like marking, as on the wings of some butterflies, usually a spot of color inside a ring of another color. The right eye. The left eye. A doctor's degree in optometry. The right eye. The left eye. Computer science, software that controls the execution of computer programs and may provide various services. Rigid connective tissue that makes up the skeleton of vertebrates. A hard brittle blue-gray or blue-black metallic element that is one of the platinum metals, the heaviest metal known. A mouth or mouth-like opening. A viewer who enjoys seeing the sex acts or sex organs of others. An animal that makes short high-pitched sounds. An informal term referring to the eye. An eye having a single lens.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.